One of the worst things that can happen to you as a small herbivorous dinosaur is to meet a carnivorous dinosaur 100 times your size. There is little you can do in a situation like this, but run for your life. It's bad enough that you come across a carnivore that is bigger than you, but the fact that it is also faster than you immediately minimizes your chances of survival. Around 70 to 80 million years ago, during the late Cretaceous period in South America, particularly in what is now Argentina, a dinosaur caused terror and eternal unrest among herbivores, the Carnotaurus. It was an impressive and terrifying hunter. In its hunting territory, it terrorized the herbivores living there in a very effective way. Thanks to its incredible speed, Carnotaurus was a fast and agile pursuer. With its long, powerful hind legs, it could move through the terrain at lightning speed. This speed made it almost impossible for the herbivores to flee from it. The prey could not flee into the dense forests or thickets because Carnotaurus also chased through these areas with its speed. In its hunting grounds, Carnotaurus was a terrifying predator with no mercy. Herbivores that couldn't prepare for its fast, deadly attacks were constantly engaged in a struggle for survival. Once an herbivore was in the sight of this fearsome predator, it had little chance of escaping. But that's just what you might expect if you were dealing with the original Carnotaurus. What if the mighty Carnotaurus from the Disney movie Dinosaurs had existed at the time? In Disney's 2000 animated film Dinosaur, the Carnotaurus is portrayed as a monstrous and exaggerated version of its real-life counterpart, making it significantly more terrifying and powerful. Unlike the real Carnotaurus, which was already a fast and agile predator, the movie version is much larger, almost rivaling the size of a Tyrannosaurus Rex. This drastic size increase makes it a towering menace, dwarfing other dinosaurs in the film. Its muscular build and massive proportions give it an almost unstoppable presence, making it seem like the ultimate apex predator of its time. The film's Carnotaurus is designed to look as intimidating as possible. Its deep red, scaly skin, paired with black markings, makes it stand out as a creature of terror. The piercing yellow eyes and the prominent forward-facing horns give it a demonic, almost supernatural look, making it appear more like a nightmare than a real dinosaur. Additionally, its huge, sharp teeth and powerful jaw make it clear that it is built for pure destruction. Disney's Carnotaurus is not just a hunter. It is a relentless force of nature. Unlike real Carnotaurus, which may have relied on ambush tactics, the movie version is shown as a fearless, brute force attacker, capable of overpowering entire herds of herbivores without hesitation. Its immense strength allows it to knock down trees and crush obstacles effortlessly, and its aggressive, almost sadistic nature makes it seem like it enjoys the hunt. Perhaps the most terrifying aspect of this Carnotaurus is its unrelenting pursuit of its prey. Throughout the film, it is portrayed as an almost indestructible force, shrugging off attacks and relentlessly tracking the protagonists. Its sheer persistence and resilience make it feel more like a horror movie monster than a typical dinosaur, creating an overwhelming sense of dread whenever it appears on screen. If the Carnotaurus from Disney's Dinosaur were real, it would be an unstoppable nightmare for herbivores, far surpassing the threat posed by its real-world counterpart. Its sheer size, raw power, and relentless hunting style would make survival nearly impossible for plant-eating dinosaurs. Despite its immense size, the movie's Carnotaurus is shown to be shockingly fast. If this speed carried over into reality, it would mean that outrunning it would be nearly impossible. Real-life herbivores, such as hadrosaurs, often relied on speed as their main defense, but against this monstrous predator, flight would not be an option. Even dinosaurs that lived in herds and relied on strength in numbers would struggle, as the Disney Carnotaurus could break through groups of prey with sheer force. Real predators have limitations: fatigue, injuries, and sometimes difficulty overpowering stronger prey. But the Disney Carnotaurus is depicted as having no weaknesses. It relentlessly pursues its victims, crashes through obstacles, and seems impervious to injury. If this were real, herbivores would have no room for error. A single mistake, and they would be caught and killed instantly. The biggest nightmare of all would be the psychological impact this predator would have. Most real-world carnivores hunt based on necessity, targeting the weak or injured. But Disney's Carnotaurus is portrayed as a fearless, hyper-aggressive killing machine that doesn't just hunt, it dominates its environment. Herbivores would live in constant terror, with no true safe zones. Even large, well-defended dinosaurs like Triceratops or Ankylosaurus might not stand a chance against such a monstrous force of destruction. But here's another big deal. If the Disney Carnotaurus were real, it wouldn't just be a nightmare for herbivores. It would also pose a massive threat to other carnivorous dinosaurs. In a prehistoric world where apex predators constantly competed for dominance, this supercharged version of Carnotaurus would likely outcompete, intimidate, and even kill rival predators, reshaping the entire ecosystem. Most large theropods like Allosaurus, Giganotosaurus, and even real Carnotaurus relied on speed, pack hunting, or specialized attack methods to take down prey. The Disney Carnotaurus, however, is depicted as a hulking brute with overwhelming physical power. Its sheer size and heavily built muscles would allow it to overpower most other carnivores in direct combat. Even dominant predators like Tyrannosaurus rex would face serious competition, as the Disney Carnotaurus seems just as massive, but far more aggressive. Unlike many predators that hunt primarily for food and avoid unnecessary fights, the Disney Carnotaurus is portrayed as an unrelenting, hyper-aggressive killer. If this trait were real, it would actively challenge and attack other carnivores, even when food wasn't scarce. Smaller predators like Velociraptor or even mid-sized hunters like Megaraptor would be forced to flee or risk being hunted themselves. The Disney Carnotaurus would dominate watering holes, feeding grounds, and prime hunting areas, forcing weaker carnivores into more dangerous or food-scarce environments. Most apex predators of the real world relied on intimidation or territory marking to avoid unnecessary fights. But the Disney Carnotaurus doesn't back down from anything. If it encountered another large predator like Giganotosaurus or T-Rex, the result would be a brutal confrontation. Given its speed, raw power, and durability, it could potentially outmaneuver and even kill some of the largest predators in history. This means that over time, the Disney Carnotaurus could drive rival species to extinction, leaving itself as the uncontested king of the food chain. If this version of the Carnotaurus existed in the real world, it would completely reshape the food chain. Herbivores would have virtually no chance of survival, as their usual defenses, speed, size, numbers, or armor, would be useless against such an overwhelming predator. The mere presence of this creature would tip the balance of nature, potentially driving many plant-eating species to extinction. In short, it would be the ultimate nightmare for any herbivore unlucky enough to share its world. We hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to leave a like and a subscription, and we'll see you in the next video. Stay fascinated.